A rare summer session here at Queen's Park began today, and there was a surprise twist, which I'll tell you about in a moment. But we'll start with the challenges Doug Ford faces as he begins his second majority.
Great to see everyone. Can't wait to get back in there.
Getting elected with an even bigger majority was the easy part. Now, Doug Ford has several fires to put out, starting with health care.
And my one message to Doug Ford is to do your job. We are experiencing the biggest healthcare crisis of our generation.
During the long weekend, 20 hospitals were forced to close ERs due to a lack of staffing. Amid dire warnings, the system was at a breaking point. According to the government, 6 were closed this past weekend.
Our hospital's in crisis right now. We're seeing more ERs closing.
Okay, let's be clear. There is not a crumbling system in the province of Ontario. To suggest that it is in crisis is completely inappropriate.
How would you describe it then?
I would say that we have what we have in Ontario, what we are seeing internationally, and that is a shortage of healthcare workers.
The new health minister maintains closing ERs is not unprecedented in Ontario. She adds there are always ebbs and flows in the system and points to a high number of healthcare workers taking vacations. The interim Liberal leader strongly disagrees.
The reality is we do have a crisis in our healthcare system. If you need emergency care and you live in one of those communities, it's a crisis for you. It's crumbling for you.
Doug Ford! Listen up! Doug Ford! Listen up!
Outside Queen's Park, healthcare protesters gathered with a message for Doug Ford.
Doug Ford! Listen up!
Inside Queen's Park, the Premier faced some dissension from his own party as well, as the new Speaker was elected. Doug Ford wanted PC MPP Nina Changri to get the job. She would have been the first female to hold the post at Queen's Park.
Mr. ARNOTT, the member for Wellington Halton Hills, has been elected.
But Ted ARNOTT was re-elected instead, which means Ford's own MPPs defied his wishes. Dragging a newly elected speaker across the floor is a playful tradition. However, the NDP claim there's a serious undertone here.
The Premier doesn't seem to have the support of his caucus on a very substantial question. I think it raises real issues about what's going on there.
Shortly after he was elected, the new Speaker downplayed the turn of events.
Every member of the legislature has the right to choose whoever they want to vote for in a secret ballot in a speaker's election.
Were you surprised? Because apparently Doug Ford wanted your competition.
I was surprised at various points during the speaker's election process.
Are PC MPPs sending a message to Doug Ford? Maybe. It's a secret ballot, so they were free to vote without consequences, but they will be expected to toe the line on future votes. Another point to make today, the Education Minister confirmed today masks will not be mandatory in schools when classes resume in September. That's not really a big surprise. The government made them optional last March.